Welcome to Life by Design. This is where we help you create the blueprint for the life you've always wanted for yourself, your family, and for those of us with even bigger perspective, this is way more than ourselves and our family. It's also about our communities and our nation, Sierra Leone. I'm Joe Abbas Bangura, and this is your Life by Design. For us as Life by Design this month of July, it flags off 6 weeks of innovation. 6 weeks of innovation. This is our innovation season, and every week in the next 6 weeks, we'll bring you lots of stuff around innovation. We include historical accounts of the early black innovators whose inventions still serve the entire human race today. And these historical accounts will be shared along the evaluation that we have done of the 12 top entries in our Youngers Innovation pitch that we rolled out 2 weeks ago. If you are watching on this show, we launched this show for 15 to 25 years of age. And if you've done something that is innovative that you wanted to share, send the video. And we had lots and lots of videos coming in. From these, we've selected 12. Those 12 will be rolled out over the next couple of weeks as we enter into the elimination stages. This will be rolled on the backdrop of our star innovator for this series, Franklin Koroma. And also in the 6 weeks, we'll be featuring partners, two of our partners, SOS Children's Villages and the UNDP Accelerator Lab, because they are connected with our star innovator for the series, Franklin Koroma. So for the entire 6 weeks, it would be innovation stories, innovation galore on Life by Design, so you don't want to miss any of this. Welcome back. Today, we'll bring you the entries of the 12 best young innovators from this innovation pitch competition that I just talked about, that we'd had running for the last couple of weeks. Also, we'd have an exclusive interview with Sierra Leonean youths, the Sierra Leonean youths that designed the Leon Vent. This is a ventilator that they had presented that could be used and become valuable in the fight against COVID-19. And also, we'll have an introduction of the UNDP Accelerator Lab, and we'll show you the first part of our star innovator's story, which is Franklin. All this and many more is packaged for you on today's show. You don't have to go away. Stay tuned and stay with us.
And in the studios today, we have Alfred, the team leader for Leon Vent. And we have a host of other gentlemen. Tell us your story. How did it all start, Alfred?
Well, we all heard of the COVID-19 pandemic when we were here in Sierra Leone. And of course, we've seen how developed countries, of course, are kind of struggling to contain the pandemic when it initially struck. So when our president, Julius Maada Bio, of course, made his speech that it was no longer a question of whether or not COVID-19 will reach Sierra Leone. It was a question of when it will reach here. We all have been keeping our fingers crossed on how we can prepare ourselves to tackle the virus should it reach Sierra Leone. And on the very first day, we recorded our first case, confirmed case. We as students, of course myself, starting with me, Alfred, I thought it fit that engineering students, to be specific, have a greater role to play in this fight. And I realized that out there in developed countries, one of the struggles they had in taking care of COVID-19 patients was the unavailability of the medical equipment. So one of those medical equipment were mechanical ventilators. So I thought it fit that if we could develop a mechanical ventilator, even as we've recorded our first case, I believe that it could be a plus in the fight against the virus. So I reached out to them, and to no avail. I even further reached out to some other platforms, but the response was not encouraging.
Why?
And,
is it that they thought it was too difficult, or?
Well, actually, I believe they have this thinking that nothing like this is possible in Sierra Leone, because if you look at the ventilator as a medical equipment, it's a whole complex system to be built.
So tell us, Alfred, they didn't respond. What did you do next?
I think the first person I actually met when I was somehow not recognized when I was meeting Stead. The next person I met was Alansan Kuyate. He's a best friend of mine from school days. I know he do believes in most of the things I do post forward to him.
All right, so you started together. Now, where did that take you?
As the team leader, I believed in group work. I believed by myself or with just the two of us, there are chances that we may fail. So the next step was to get the right people on board. So we actually went out there. That was the time we met with Mr. Abdul Toure of Connaught.
Okay, Abdul, when they came to Connaught and told you they want to make this, did you look at them as foolish boys or dreamers, or what came to your mind?
No, since my background is equipment, because I did my studies in the US. First, I got a call from the head of the hospital that there are a couple of students from Fowey College want to do some innovation work. So I went with Alfred to the ICU. We turned on the equipment, started functioning. So I was just explaining the function of the machines. So they were kind of enthusiastic about the thing. So we discussed a lot, but by then I was having another project at 34. So they have to come down to Connaught again, Alfred and Kuyate. So I said, no, this is very serious. Initially, I was just taking it that's kind of not serious something. So I said, no, this is, since my background is equipment, we have to be in a team to work together. So from then, we start moving up.
Together.
Yeah, searching for the piece of things that we need to set up the system.
We're still talking about the Leone Vent, produced by engineering students, mixed with medical students. And there is a gentleman also that is at the back there. I see somebody there called Franklin. His name has been popping up. What was Franklin's role in all of this?
Well, actually, Franklin is a very skilled man. He's talented. He is good at electronics. So when we had this inception, and as a team leader, I thought it fit that getting the right expertise on board would kind of fast track the whole process. So I think Franklin was among those first people that I really thought it fit to meet. So we had a group. We had Kuyate, Timu, Luis, all these people were on board.
So what component was he going to do for you?
Yes, it was to look at the electronic part of the device.
2 minutes, Franklin. I want you to just tell us, you see what is happening here today. What was in your mind when they approached you?
When I first met with Alfred, Kuyate, and Luis, they told me they want to build a ventilator. And I said, that's a brilliant idea. So we discussed, and they told me how the systems are supposed to operate and how I should come in. and the control of the motor, the valves, and other stuffs. So I had to go to my drawing board and then start designing the circuits, the components, the ICs and stuff like that. So we met on several occasions and then doing testing, constant testing and everything.
All right, so tell me, how did Tunkara rather come into this?
Well, from the very period I got the inception of this dream up to the point of meeting Mr. Abdul Toure and finally meeting Engineer Tunkara, it took us some 1 month. But all those times, our greatest challenge was finance. During those periods, Engineer Tunkara here was also looking for people to fund, to be specific students, to fund them to do a ventilator.
He also was looking for
students
join to make a ventilator, and he will fund them.
Of course.
And we were also looking for a sponsor. So he had money looking for students.
We had ideas looking for people with money. So the whole thing kind of linked up when we met with our engineer, Satinya Loma, who is a senior lecturer at Fabe College, the mechanical department. So with this idea, I met him. I said, sir, we have this dream. We want to actualize it. But our greatest challenge is finance. He said, what? This gentleman just came here and he said he wants to get a group of students that he could fund. I said, who is that? He said, he's a former student. I said, sir, please, as urgent as possible, link us up with that student. So that was the time God made it right.
Tell us your experience, Tunkara.
Well, actually, before I met with them, I was part of a lot of groups, engineering groups, and I sent a question there. I asked, is there anybody here who can come together to invent ventilators? There is nobody. Even in the engineering group, nobody came up. So I decided to go up
to the college.
And met this Mr. Nyaloma. He's a mentor and also a lecturer. He taught me from year 1 to year 3. So I said, I want you to help me with a group of students to develop a ventilator. So after 2 weeks, he called me and said, I have got a very brilliant and innovative student. Yes, up to success.
So you had this call. What happened after that call? Did they have anything then?
Well, actually at that time, they were just like
ideas.
Okay.
Just
like ideas, yes. From that start, I gave them like 3 million euros. I said, start with this one. Let me see. As you develop, then I will continue to put more money. So when they start, I saw something.
Some potential.
Yes, some potential. And I put another money again. I continue. And after today, 1 month, and I saw something almost coming.
Resembling the
ventilator, yes. I said, good.
Well, being here now as a team, we know what we've done. And we know LeonVent standing there in that beautiful architecture, of course, can save lives, we are sure. We are the designers. It may need some approval by the appropriate authorities, but we are sure it can save lives. Anybody out there, starting from the private investors here in Sierra Leone, the government, the NGOs, and our partners in development from the diaspora anywhere, they know that if they can just step in, this product would be made available in the market anytime from now. Because if we can do it in a lecture theater, we can do better in a well-equipped lab and workshop.
That's the word. LeonVent is just the beginning. Now, I can touch it. It's no longer an idea. It's now real. It's tangible. Now, if you're out there, you have an idea. Take inspiration from this LeonVent. This is life by design, making or helping to make change happen.